Thank you, everyone, for coming out. We really appreciate it. For those of you I don't know, Jeff Moss, I'm the COO of the foundation, and I help on the investment committee. So I'm helping with the endowment and trying to make sure we manage your funds well to give you all scholarships. That's what we do. And then I help on the development and alumni relations. We're excited to be here today. Thank you to those that are here that are donors, the supporters, community members that are involved in this, and most importantly, thank you, students. You are the reason we're here. You get amazing people like this that are here because they see that drive, that fire inside you, and they want to help you achieve your goals. So we are happy to announce a few programs today. I'm going to give just a little overview on these programs, and then we're going to have some great speakers give you some additional thoughts. To start with, we're going to talk about the Entrepreneur Institute. They're doing some amazing things at the Entrepreneur Institute. To start with, we've got a new program called the Ross Seed Fund, and we're going to talk about those that are here supporting this. But the idea is you are sitting around, thinking about great business ideas, and they've been playing around in your head, and maybe you've been talking to your friends and your family, and if you're a true entrepreneur, you've probably told everybody you know about it. But you're trying to figure out, how do I take that idea and actually make it something? How do I build that into a business? And so the Ross Seed Fund is really set up to help you get that first step, give you some initial funding, give you some initial support to getting that idea off the ground and into a real business. And so we're very excited about what they're going to do. The Zen Starter is another program that's focusing on helping this first stage, that idea stage of a business in becoming a true reality. Once you've got this idea, you've got some traction, you're starting to get you're getting your basic product going. Now you need some help and you need to start accelerating. And I'm excited to announce with the Entrepreneur Institute, thanks to the help of Dean Wright and Mark Seastrand, they're going to be launching an accelerator program here at Utah Valley University. This is going to be a very intensive program that's going to provide some very strong support to help you really escalate that business, really get that going and hitting some key milestones. At that point, another area that we have here at UVU that we're so fortunate is the Business Resource Center. And we have Wynn Jeanfro here with us today. At the Business Resource Center, now you're starting to talk about, okay, I've got a business, I've got some traction. Now I'm starting to think about, gosh, how do I do accounting? And what about HR? And what about all these other things that I don't know a whole lot about? We're fortunate that we've got the Business Resource Center. And really, that's the bridge for us between the university and the community. So this is not just here at UVU, but it's throughout the community. And so we're so grateful for the BRC and what they're able to provide. And they've got connections to a number of state agencies, EDC Utah, the U-Star program. There's a number of things that we have over there. In addition, we have some real estate. I remember when I first started my first company, and I'm sitting in my apartment, and I'm trying to talk to Disney. Literally, this is a true story. I'm talking to Disney on the phone, and my buddy's in the room next to me playing Xbox, screaming, and I'm trying to hide. Don't let them hear this. We actually have the ability to provide some real estate at very reasonable rates for you to be able to incubate that company and continue to grow it. And then at the next stage, you're talking about, okay, so maybe I have this idea. I want to change the world, right? I've got this revolutionary idea that's going to disrupt an industry. You may need some capital for that. And we're going to be able to provide those relationships between the foundation board with the Wolverine Fund and a lot of the members of, we're going to have Amy talk a little bit about the National Advisory Board. But we're going to be able to help connect you to capital. And if you've reached certain milestones and you've really got some good traction with your company, we have relationships with a lot of the venture partners here in Utah, as well as outside the state, that we can connect you to. So really, from the very early stage all the way through, we're going to be able to help support you, provide some resources, provide some mentoring, and really help you grow those companies. Now, on the other hand, you may be interested, I don't want to start a business. I want to be on the investment side. I want to be a venture capitalist. I want to know what it takes to be an investor. Or maybe you're an entrepreneur and you're thinking, I want to know, what does a venture capitalist want? What are they looking for when they put money into a business? And that's what we're excited to announce also, is the Wolverine Venture Fund. This is a program that we're going to actually put real money into businesses. The foundation board, this was driven heavily by James Clark, our foundation chair. and Scott Cooksey, the CEO of the foundation, about 2 years ago made the decision that we wanted to play a more active role in the community. And so they came up with this Wolverine Fund that I've been helping out with. We've also had some incredible support from some of the venture capitalists here in the community and saying, let's build an amazing fund. And yes, it will provide some return back to the endowment and to the foundation, but we really are focusing on how does this help students? How can we provide them with hands-on experience to be able to actually invest money directly into these companies? So that's really what we're here for today. We're very excited. I'm going to turn some time over to, I just announced the rest of the speakers today. We're going to have James Clark, who's our foundation board chair, an amazing entrepreneur and investor. Both. She's done fantastic things. And then Amy Anderson, who's the chair of our National Advisory Board. And she also is a very successful entrepreneur and investor, and she was hanging out with the President of the United States yesterday, and now we have her here today, so we're very fortunate to have her. And then obviously President Holland, who needs no introduction. And it really is his vision and his drive that has allowed us to be able to put these programs together and really change and transform Utah Valley University. So I'll go ahead and turn the time over to James Clark.
A huge debt of gratitude to Jeff Moss for all that you have done. You downplay your role in this, but you have done so much more than you acknowledge, and we appreciate you very much. One more round of applause for Jeff Moss. Thank you. As Jeff was talking about me and mentioning that I'm an investor, Amy, and it said he's done some, I think your words were some amazing things, is that right? Yeah. Amy leans over to me and says, you've done all right. So the bar is very high in this room, and you will hear from one of the great experts here in this room shortly. So I tip my hat to Amy, and she truly has done amazing things, and so many wonderful entrepreneurs have shared their success in previous iterations of a meeting like this here in this community. But this today is the culmination of something great. The coming of age of this Wolverine Fund is something I have looked forward to for a long time. Now, I didn't know what to call it, but with the wisdom of those who lead here at this university, led by those who are boots on the ground like Jeff Moss, like Scott Cooksey, and Dean Norm Wright, overseeing the business school, and our good president, this is leadership in action. We are so grateful for what's taken place so far, and the best is, of course, yet to come. Here, as we start off the Wolverine Fund, I have to talk for just a moment about a trip I took this last summer with your university president. He was speaking at MIT World Peace University in Pune, India. In between all of the meetings and his speaking, we had one day to visit a palace in Jaipur. If you've ever been to India in my travels, this is one of the great beauties. And while we were there at this Jaipur palace, we had come back down to the base where we were met by a little bit of a jungle there. And while we were there, we were looking out and we could see some movement in the branches. Amidst that movement, we could see sort of this gray pop out. And what it was, as I looked out the window of this bus, was a monkey. One of the great joys of going to India is seeing these monkeys. Now, this was not any monkey. This was, if you know monkeys, this was a gray langur. Now, a gray langur is just as it's described, gray, but this is the superhero of all monkeys there in India. This is the 40 to 60 pounds. So imagine a lab, as we know, but it can jump in trees, it can climb them, and it has teeth probably 3 times as big as a lab. I was interested, and there was food at the front of the bus. I grabbed that food and immediately went outside, trying to attract the attention of this gray langur. Well, it attracted the attention, and I, kind of led it on this little path, and it came closer and closer, and maybe too close, so close that it was maybe a bit spooked and jumped right up the tree. By the time it got up to the top of the tree, President, your good president, this brave president, came out, and as we were trying to attract it down from the tree, Scott Cooksey also approached. And all of us tried to figure out how we could bring this gray langur down so we could participate and have a little bit of this food. None of us could do it until your good president let out a roar. And I don't know what happened next exactly, because I think I blacked out a little bit for a moment, because the next thing I knew, this gray langur was jumping out of the tree towards us, and I saw my life flash before my eyes. As soon as I realized it was over and that monkey had jumped past us, I looked at your good president, and without missing a beat, he said, "Was that a great monkey call or what, folks? Was that a great monkey call or what?" While the rest of us are frozen, trying to figure it out, you've got the exuberance of a president like Matt Holland, who's letting out a monkey call and then giving the victory lap of what had just happened while I'm still trying to figure out what had taken place, imagining my children without a father and my wife without a husband. That's the exuberance of this university that we all share as we think about this Wolverine Fund. Now, if you're anything like me, as you were growing up, and I'll tell you, if you were dreaming, while all your friends were dreaming of being Michael Jordan, you were dreaming of owning the Bulls, you're in the right place. If you were taking test drives of Porsches when you had no money, you're in the right place for this Wolverine Fund. If you're hustling while everybody thinks the job is finished, you are in the right place. If you are here at this university, you're at the right place. This is an exciting time to be part of this Wolverine Fund. And as your good president says, universities are only young once. You are pioneers, and as the pioneer saying goes, this is the right place. UVU is the right place. I love an underdog. Can we call an underdog an underwolf or an underreen? What do we call that? But I love rooting for the underwolf, the underreen, whatever it might be, and this is the right place to do it. If you're here, you are in the right place. Thank you for all that you're doing. Thanks for launching this fund, Jeff, and thanks for having me today. Thank you.
See, the problem, James, is there's no such thing as an under Wolverine. I don't know if you've studied the Wolverine, but when President Holland asked me to get involved down here at UVU, I didn't know what a Wolverine was. I had no idea, so I went and looked it up. It's now one of my favorite animals, one of the stealthiest, most deadly ones out there that no one sees coming because it's the most ferocious and it's going to fight and get it done. So there's no better name than the Wolverine Fund for these companies, right? They're going to be the stealthy little guys that no one sees coming, and they're going to go out there and attack the world and get it done. So this is such an exciting thing for UVU, and I agree with what James said. There's really not a college that I get more excited about than this university. And I serve on the boards of a lot of universities and help at a lot of places, but there is part of that, I'm going to admit, it's the Matt Holland monkey call, apparently. I guess that makes me a bit of a monkey. But when he yells out that yell, we all come running. I guess that's why I'm here, because I didn't go to UVU, but man, I wish I would have some days, because this is a great, amazing school. And what makes it so unique to me is the fact that the students here have a drive and a passion and I'd say a lack of entitlement, meaning they are willing to work hard and get it done and get in there, and they're not above anything, so they'll like just be willing to take on any job and work their guts out. And those are going to be the people that succeed. Those are going to be the ones that are the future entrepreneurs that are doing crazy successful companies. As James shared, I just got back from Washington, D.C. about 1 o'clock this morning, so let's zoom out with those cameras and not have that filter going. But I was out there for an invitation to go to the White House, and it was a really kind of unique experience for me to be able to go. And one of the exciting things about the group that we were talking with is that Ivanka Trump talked a lot about the importance of getting the students in the university level experiential learning. Because what's happening is too many students are going through college, getting a degree, and then they don't go into that field because they've never actually had any practical experience in that field. So they get in there and hate it and want to do something else. And think how much more successful we can be if we can get the experience while we're in college learning and earn while we learn too. So there's some huge opportunities here, and I think UVU does a better job, to President Holland's credit and to all of those that are part of the university. It does a better job of that than I've seen at any of the other universities, and I love that about UVU, because entrepreneurs are scrappy, and investors become better investors when they've been an entrepreneur, and an entrepreneur becomes a better investor if they've gone the opposite way. So seeing it from the other side, I was an entrepreneur, started my company at I don't know, it was about your age-ish. They're the young people, not you old people in the room. But I started that company, and back then I looked at investors as kind of the evil guys that you had to go to get money, right? The venture capitalists, the scary guys. And what happened is after I was successful as an entrepreneur and became an investor, I was like, I wish I would have been an investor at least a little bit first, or at least gotten that exposure first, because I would have understood what they needed from me and what they were looking for in companies. So for our students here at UVU to get some exposure to what it means to do a diligence of business and what are the things these investors are looking for, it is going to increase their likelihood of success so high. So whether they want to go into the entrepreneurship side or the investment side, for students to get exposure on both sides, that is going to be the ideal experience. And this Wolverine Fund and these startup funds that you guys, and thank you to all those people. For the students, I don't think you realize these people could put their money anywhere, right? Then they get asked by everyone, trust me. We get calls all day, every day. And the fact they chose UVU says something about the students here, and it says something about your president, again, the monkey call, and people like James Clark, that you've got such an incredible group that has come together to help the kids at this school succeed. So I am super excited to see this happen. We're only going to be going bigger places from here, which is really exciting. We're sorry you're going to have to miss out on that. President Holland, it'll be your loss. Just kidding. But we're so glad for what you've done with this school this far, and we're excited to keep that going for you and preserve the legacy. And thank you to James and all the other leaders in the room that have done so much for this school. This is awesome. Big round of applause for yourselves.
I'm not going to give a monkey call right here, okay, just for the record. But I will say, as James' story suggests, in my life, the line between exuberance and what Alan Greenspan called irrational exuberance is very thin. The very likely end of that story might have been university president kills foundation chair in India via a monkey. It was that close. So, but I'm very grateful to James and Amy and talk about, exuberance and leadership on display with both of them here today, as well as so many people in the room. That's what is so exciting about what is happening here, because you can see it at every level. It starts in the broadest part of the community. What an exciting community to be part of right now. Here in the heart of Silicon Slopes, what's happening to businesses, what's happening to entrepreneurship, what's happening to leadership, what's happening to our economy, what's happening to our workforce development. It is just electrifying. We're like the envy of the nation, and we've got this university situated in it that's peopled everywhere, with folks who get it, who want to be part of this exciting moment and contributing to it and fostering it. And it happens university-wide, and we've talked about that. And I'm so grateful for our business school that's playing a leading role in that. Dean Norm Wright is here, and his mantra of a business school that's the business school for this community, for Utah. That's just not the typical way a business school dean would think about things, but it's what Norm has done here, and working with Amy, building a great advisory board and being a really key part of this, in addition to these other funds and institutes and resource centers that we've already talked about, which I'm very grateful for. And today is really such a rewarding moment, because especially as I'm now thinking about next phases of life and reflecting on what's happened. In many ways, this is the culmination of something that happened at the very beginning. So at the very beginning, one of the things we did is we said, we live in this great community. Let's get the community together and have the community help us define ourselves in terms of what we want to become and what we want to do. We had this terrific business engagement strategy. And I've been part of these things before in a public sector. And so often you kind of come together, you have these conversations, you pat yourself on the back, and nothing ever happens. But we were determined from the beginning that we would meet, we would think about things in a smart way, and we would pick a few things to do, and we would actually do it and stick with it. And this is the culmination, in some ways, of a strategy that started 8 years ago, when one of the specific inputs from the community was, you've got to build an entrepreneurial culture on this campus. And that part of that, one of the ideas would be to have a fund. And now, not only have we, as you can see, have we built this culture with a business resource center and an entrepreneurship institute, but now multiple funds that are coming together in a way that shows sophistication and variety, that meets students and entrepreneurs where they are, giving them the resources they need to propel to the next level. It's just frankly exceeded my wildest ambitions about where we could go once our friends, like Greg Butterfield and Fraser Bullock, who chaired this engagement strategy, kind of helped map out our future for us. And so I'm grateful, clear back to those folks 8 years ago who helped us, grateful to our new friends who have stepped forward, to our terrific faculty, students, advisors. wonderful support from development. Jeff Moss coming in and Scott Cooksey and taking on a role that typically isn't done by foundations. This is kind of, again, a non-traditional entrepreneurial thing that they're doing. And so I'm grateful for their leadership on that. So with that, let me just specifically, I think we would be remiss if we didn't sort of name by name feature those who have made these funds possible today. And so I want to kind of, just to make sure I don't forget anything, I want to read through those who have contributed. At the end, I'll ask them all, those who are here, most of them are here, to stand up so that we can recognize them. But let's start with the Ross Brothers Seed Fund, Brett and Robert Ross. Brett Ross is currently the CEO and founder of Clickin', a fast, fun, easy, disruptive way to expand your fund horizon. It's an app that turns events into shared life experiences with your circle of friends. He was the former president and co-founder of United Shipping Solutions, which established a large client base and revenue stream, working as a selling partner for DHL Express and 25 freight companies. Robert Ross, currently the co-founder of Into a Ship, which leverages its buying power to successfully reduce shipping costs from over 60 carriers and offers discounted rates to the public through its proprietary web-based technology. He was also the former vice president and co-founder of United Shipping Solution. Charlie and Lindsay Estes, co-founders of Vox Nutrition, a registered manufacturing facility that specializes in private label supplements and has been in the health and fitness industry since 2002. Since that time, they've also started several additional companies, including Ship Central Fulfillment, Next Energy Alliance, Utah RV and Boat Storage, and Parasol Group, a great team of entrepreneurs and fearless problem solvers. In terms of the Zen Starter Fund, Ray Zinn, who's not able to be with us, is the founder and former CEO of Micrel, Inc., and longest-serving CEO of a Silicon Valley firm. He's launched the Zen Starter program at UVU, providing early seed funding and mentoring support for UVU students to launch new products and companies. The program's designed to allow students to create go-to-market plans, finish prototypes, and ultimately to be evaluated on the performance of the use of their funding. Ray's humanistic leadership principles, keys to building an endurance business, and conservative management principles are expressed in his terrific book, Tough Things First. In terms of the UVU Wolverine Fund, we start with Jive Communications. We have Sterling Stowe here from Jive. Jive provides cloud-based phone systems and unified communication services. They've hired many of our students, and the first step to support the fund of $25,000 comes from Jive. We're grateful to them for paving the way. Our own James Clark, Foundation Chair, led the charge for the Foundation Board to be more engaged and active in the entrepreneur ecosystem by launching the Angel Task Force, which really began the Wolverine Fund. He's the CEO and managing partner of Clark Capital, Growth Equity and Alternatives Family Office. In 2001, he founded ClearLink, and based in Salt Lake, worked as CEO, then executive chairman, and after roughly 10 years in online retail with over 10,000, it was acquired by Pamlico Capital. Brent Bishop founded Greenbacks, Inc. in 1990, served as its chief executive officer or president. Over a 12-year period, Mr. Bishop was responsible for growing Greenbacks from 1 to 100 retail stores in 10 states. He served as the chief executive officer and president of Content Watch. He was a co-founder and partner of Franklin Covey, a financial investment firm, in 1979. Neil Williams, here today, founded Corda Technologies, served as its executive chairman, chief scientist, chief strategist, and president of services. Neil also served as chief strategist and member of the board of directors at Domo, Inc., and in 2001, Utah Valley Entrepreneurial Forum named Williams the Utah Entrepreneur of the Year. Eric Varvel, who is not able to be with us, serves as president and chief executive officer of Credit Suisse. Can I ask all those who are here today, who've been so noted, to stand up and let us thank you heartily for your contributions. And I would be remiss if I also didn't thank today Mary Crafts Homer, for providing our delicious food today. Well, the fantastic cookies, courtesy of Mary. She's on our foundation board. She's been such a champion, supporter, great advisor for us, and she also hires many, many of our students. We have good food here at UVU. We help her, she helps us. It's a wonderful partnership. So thanks to Mary. A round of applause. Well, with that, we again want to say thank you for being here today. Especially thank you to our donors for the tremendous boost this gives us. This really is a game-changing moment for us as a university. We've been doing a lot of things. We've given a lot of mentorship. We've been trying to create this culture. We're trying to give them intellectual tools and practical skills. But sometimes it's just that capital. It's that money that makes the difference to get someone launched to do something in the real world. And as I talked with Amy about her experiences back in Washington, D.C., this is what's making so much of the difference at this university. It's that we're building the best of what a traditional university is. Outstanding faculty, great pedagogy, wonderful research that's done, great insights from books and learnings and lessons and case studies. But there's nothing like experience. And what you've done here is you're providing the most real-world kinds of experiences for our students to go into, and starting here when they're at the university, that's going to make all the difference, not only in their lives, but in the rest of this community as we foster, again, the excitement, the greatness that is emerging here in our community. You've just added to that in a dramatic way. We're going to be very good stewards of these resources. I can promise you that. And you will see a tremendous return on your investment, not just in terms of the financial terms, but mostly in the human terms of what this will do for our students and for this community. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you again, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Amy, James, President. It's so obvious why there's so much excitement. When you have leaders like this that are helping drive this, it's no wonder why we're all so excited to come to work every day and help support these great programs. We're finished up with this part of the presentation. I encourage you, we've got some food. We actually have some of our student entrepreneurs here as well. So if you want to have some time to chat with some of them, and then we've got some of the clubs here also. And then we will be doing some prizes. Of course, you can't have a student event without having some prizes. So stick around, and we're going to be announcing those in a little bit. Thank you, everybody, for coming.